Okay, so I'd like to formally welcome Chad Eros to Central Elementary School as part of the 2013 provincial election and our student vote on Monday. So Chad, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Taking time out of your day
Great.
to help educate our kids on engaged citizenship. So
I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
whenever you're ready,
Yeah.
away you go.
Thank you. Well, thank you to Student Vote and Mr. Lister for having me here today, and thank you kids for all coming. I see you got pencils out ready to write and take notes, which is great. So my name's Chad Eros. I'm running as a BC Conservative for MLA, Member of the Legislative Assembly, to represent you in government. Our party, you know, there's different parties that get together and they have an idea and they think it's a good idea. Our idea is that governments shouldn't be great big entities. We should try as hard as we can to take as little from the people and use money and taxes that we get to give you the best services we can and use your money wisely. So that's basically how a conservative thinks. I'm going to tell you a story on basically the difference. What we feel is the difference between how conservatives think and how other government entities might think. So here we go. I wrote this story, sorry, and my 14-year-old daughter illustrated this story. So it was a family effort. We got them involved too. Okay, here we go. There once were two neighboring and competing orange farmers who made orange juice. These two farmers found themselves in a drought. It just wouldn't rain a drop. Both farmers' orange trees started to get very thirsty and wither. They couldn't grow oranges very well anymore. People who liked and drank orange juice became very worried. They wanted to make sure they got the orange juice that they loved so much. The first farmer had a quick solution to the problem. He bought a large vice grip that could squeeze things very hard. And if we could go to the next slide, that would be great. There you go. He's got a little vice grip there. And what did he do with that vice grip? He collected the previously squeezed oranges and orange peels and the seeds, and he announced his master plan. I have a plan to supply orange juice to all the orange juice fans out there. People don't have to go without orange juice because I will save the day. And I'll also turn my phone off. So, I will squeeze these previously squeezed oranges harder. I will get more juice out of them by squeezing their peels, seeds, and anything else that comes from the orange trees to get more orange juice out of them. I will also pick young oranges off the trees that aren't ripe yet and squeeze them too. These trees can produce more for me now. Let's not wait. Let's have it now. And that's just what he did. And it didn't take long for the farmer to squeeze the previously squeezed oranges harder. He used the great big vice machine to squeeze the squished oranges, their seeds, peels, and young oranges super hard. But very bitter juice came from the rinds and seeds. Juice from squished oranges, seeds, orange peels, and young oranges is very bitter. Also, when all the seeds were squeezed and crushed, there were no more seeds left to plant new trees. Let's go to the next slide. But the people who loved orange juice rushed to him to get their orange juice anyways. They really loved orange juice and couldn't wait to get some. But when they drank it, they became very unhappy with the first farmer. They complained, "This orange juice was given to us quickly, but it is bitter and rotten. We will never buy orange juice from you ever again. We would rather have no orange juice than this orange juice. We can see that your trees are withered and dying, and you have no seeds to plant new trees. How will you ever supply us with orange juice ever again?" Next slide, please. The second farmer thought long and hard. He had to make a very tough decision. At first, he heard of his competing neighbor's plan to provide a quick supply of orange juice by squeezing the oranges harder, peels, seeds, and all. It was tempting to do the same thing as the first farmer because times were tough. and he had bills to pay too. Then he had an idea that excited him. He thought, no, I will not squeeze the previously squeezed oranges harder. I will use the seeds to plant more trees, and I will use the peels to fertilize the ground. Even though the clouds won't rain on our land, I know there is water in the ground. If the people who love orange juice dig a well on this ground, water will spring up. We can water the old and new trees and have more orange juice than ever before. The farmer told the people that if they dug the well, he would give them gold stars for their work by getting orange juice in exchange for digging the well. Next slide, please. The people were so happy with this farmer's plan. They got to work digging the well right away. While they were waiting for new oranges to grow, they realized they could trade their gold stars for other goods to people who liked orange juice as well. Everyone realized that these gold stars were a great idea. Amazing! After a while, there were more trees producing more oranges than ever. Some people traded their gold stars for juice, and some used their gold stars to trade for other goodies, like candy, and all sorts of other stuff. What else would you trade your gold star for? You?
A car.
A car? Oh, that's good. How about you? What would you use your gold star for?
Money.
Guess what? Those gold stars are money. You're a smart cookie. That's what those represent. So, there were also more orange trees than ever before. In fact, the farmer realized that his business was the business of taking care of the trees. His new business slogan became, "Trees are our business." Next slide, please. Thanks. Which was literally true. Many people realized that their businesses were like the orange farms, since all products that they desire come from the earth. Everyone started to think long-term and avoiding trading short-term solutions for long-term mistakes. This wise orange farmer became an example to all workers and business owners. Eventually, there were a lot of gold stars circulating around. Unfortunately, some people lost their gold stars and some were even stolen. One well digger decided he would offer the service of keeping gold stars in a safe, secure place for everyone. Next slide, please. Ooh, who said that? Wow. Yeah, see, wow, that's great. We just had someone say, hey, that's a bank. He called this a bank. Nice one. You stole my thunder. He would give them bits and pieces of gold stars to people who left their gold stars in his bank. He called these bits and pieces of gold stars interest. He could pay interest because he would lend the gold stars to others who wanted to buy homes and businesses, assets and other items. Assets, that's stuff, like cars or candy or skateboards or whatever. You have a question? I'll get your question later. I'm almost done. Because the second wise farmer didn't try to please everyone so fast, he helped his community beyond what he could have ever imagined. Next slide, please. People got the orange juice they wanted, and trade became easier through gold stars, or money, which people ended up calling money. I just jumped ahead. As well, other longer-term jobs were created besides well digging, so that everyone living around the farm prospered more than ever before. Don't ever buy orange juice from an orange farmer that wants to squeeze oranges, harder. But buy from the farmer who won't squeeze harder, but let the trees grow and give them water to grow so more oranges can grow. Sometimes we have to work and wait for good things, and if we do that, very good things will happen. That's my story. Thank you. So, you have any questions? You in the front.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful? Thanks. Was that a question? That was beautiful? That's how you make that a question. Yes?
Are you gonna promote sports for schools?
Can I just repeat that question? The question was, are you going to promote sports for schools?
You know what? Sports for schools is a great idea. Actually, in fact, the more healthy people are, the less money it costs for being sick. So yeah, a good sports program in a school helps everybody. Yes, at the back there. Yes.
Are you going to make more jobs for younger people?
The question was, are you going to make more jobs for younger people?
You know what? That's a big part of what we believe, and a big part of what my story is all about. What I believe is that if governments get out of the way of people who have great ideas to make jobs for young people, those jobs will multiply, and there'll be lots of jobs for young people. In my story, I talked about a farmer. The farmers were the government, by the way, and governments that believe in high taxes or squeezing the trees or the oranges harder often make businesses not want to be here, and they'll go to a place where they don't get squeezed as hard. So by us having lower taxes or not squeezing people as hard, businesses will stay here, and we'll have more jobs. Hi. Go ahead.
Will you stop people from smoking?
The question was, will you stop people from smoking?
Right now, our government puts heavy taxes on smokes for people to, well, try and discourage them from that activity. You know what? It's tough to make individuals make good decisions all the time, and we certainly try to encourage people from doing harmful things.
I have one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Why do they have to have guns?
Okay.
Because.
You want to repeat that?
The question was, why do we have guns in Canada?
So there's a lot of reasons that we have guns in Canada, but probably the most normal reason is that people hunt. People use guns on farms, and our police officers use them to protect society. They have them on their hips. My dad retired from the RCMP a year ago, and he had to wear a gun to protect us. But definitely, bad guys should not have guns, and we need to work at making sure that the bad guys stop carrying guns. That's for sure.
Also knives.
And yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
And at the back there in the green.
Okay, so what are your opinions of putting more technology into schools?
The question was, what is your opinion about putting more technology into schools?
I think that, this is great. Like, I emailed my story, and it's on the projector screen, and I think it's great for learning as well. You all will be, growing up really fast, really soon, and you should have as much technology as you can get your hands on. I feel the purpose of education, the purpose of this place is to prepare you and help you grow up into people that can use these things later. Does anybody know how to use the projector yet? Oh, there's some people here who know how to use the projector and a computer. That's really good.
One more.
Not right now.
She's got lots. You can talk to me after. You can ask me like a million questions after.
Okay.
And over here in the hoodie.
I was wondering, since your story is about orange trees, are they going to plant more orange trees?
That would be nice.
You know what? I love orange juice. It's really good. Am I going to plant more orange trees? Well, the orange trees are actually symbolic. They're they're kind of like businesses, and that's what we want to do. We want to make it so that more orange trees can get planted in BC, so there's more jobs. And in the orange?
I actually drank orange juice this morning.
You did? That's great, man. You're a big orange juice fan. And in the back there?
What are your goals while in office?
My goals while in office is to make BC a place where families want to live. Since 1998, the schools have lost 74,000 students because I feel like it's really expensive to live in BC, and BC is no longer becoming the choice for families to live in. I want to get rid of a nasty thing. It's just like the vice grip in this story. It's called the property transfer tax. It makes people dreams of owning a family home very tough because they have to come up with thousands of dollars and give it to the government to own a house, which other provinces don't do. Thanks. And the green?
What are your opinions about the chlorine in the Chilliwack water?
My opinions about the chlorine in the Chilliwack water? The one thing I think that people really were upset about, probably more than anything, is that they didn't feel like they were spoken to. They just felt like they were made to accept a decision that surprised them. And so I think government offices and agencies have to do a better job of consulting with the people and making them feel like they're a part of the process. People have to be a part of the decision making, then they don't feel like they're being told what to do all the time.
Comment.
And in the front here, green?
Do you believe in equal rights for everyone?
Oh, yes, I do. I believe in equal rights for everyone. Everybody should be treated equal. That's a good question. And over here in the purple?
What will you be doing to reduce British Columbia's footprint?
The question was, what will you be doing to reduce British Columbia's ecological footprint?
Oh. Well, you know what? What will I do to reduce British Columbia's ecological footprint? Probably one of the greatest inventions that reduced pollution was called the catalytic converter. It goes inside of a car and it makes it so less pollution comes out. So, and did you know that the government didn't invent that? It got invented by somebody in Los Angeles, by a French person who said, you know what, there's too much pollution. I'm going to invent something to fix this. And the government didn't make him do it, but when he invented it, and then another car company finished the invention, the governments around the world made it so that cars had to have that. So what we want to do is encourage inventors to come here, and we don't want to squeeze them too hard so they don't choose to live here. We want businesses, inventors, all sorts of people in science and technology to choose BC. And it is happening a little bit. China just gave our university, UBC, $3.5 million to help solve their greenhouse gas emissions problem, and we need to encourage that more. Over here in the plaid, or the stripes.
My question is, would you make a lawn lot and everything, or like ban cars in the lot that aren't like electric powered cars in the lot, and make a lot more like solar panels and whatever cars in the lot?
Yep. So the question is, would I ban cars that aren't electric and solar
like
panel
make
things like
more
that? I guess that's a choice between punishment and rewards. We don't believe in punishing people for using things until an alternative is there, until there's a replacement, because we all have to go to work and drive to work somehow, and we all have to heat our homes somehow. And punishing people for using natural gas to heat their homes, there's a country that's doing that right now quite a bit, and it's called Greece, and people are burning, because they can't afford natural gas, they're burning even dirtier things. They'll burn whatever they can to stay warm or cook. So punishment doesn't always work. Way at the back with the hand way in the air.
Okay. What are your opinions about the incinerator?
Oh, I don't want an incinerator near our city. There's no way. There are different ways to get rid of garbage. One of the ways is called gasification, and that doesn't produce as much, but it's more expensive to build a gasification plant to get rid of garbage. And that's a good question, because that's not what they want to put near our city. They want to put an incinerator, and I'm very against that. And our whole entire political party is against that.
I have another question.
Okay.
What's your opinion on the pipeline going through the Alberta?
You know, my opinion on that is that we need to be reasonable, because our friends in our country, Alberta and Canada, we're all in the same country, we're all together. If we stop buying oil from Alberta, do you know who we would buy it from instead? That's great that you don't know. Yeah, who would we get it from instead? People say that we would be getting it instead from places like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and there's a lot of other countries out there that are very happy that BC might be not making friends with Alberta anymore and wrecking our friendships with the rest of Canada. I think there's a lot of people who are sad about the way that some of our politicians are talking about that issue as well. Over here, way in the blue.
What are you gonna do to help the environment?
Well, to help the environment, I believe that we need to make BC a friendly place for research and development and inventors. People, we want to see more initiatives like other countries coming to our universities, which are very, very good universities that have good, smart students in it, and investing here to help solve greenhouse gas emission problems. That will also create jobs for students as well as they work to solve these problems. In the green.
Me?
Yes, sir. When you remember it, I'm going to pick you again. And in the plaid blue.
Where will you spend the healthcare?
Wow, what a great question. I love that you asked about where are we going to spend the healthcare money. Right now, there's been some very smart people that have been doing some studies, and they said that we spend too much of our money on office work and too much time behind desks, and not enough of our money and time and resources goes to doctors, nurses, frontline healthcare workers. I don't know, I'm going to say something, I think you guys will be able to get it, but we have 11 times more people sitting behind desks per person than Germany does in their healthcare system. So a lot of money is going to desk work and not enough towards doctors, nurses, making sure that we have emergency rooms ready for people. So that's a really good question. And in the white? Am I going to make university and college cheaper? Well, I definitely want to make it more affordable and more accessible to people. There are other provinces that give grants for people who want to do graduate studies. Right now, BC doesn't have as good of incentives to attract students. So, you know, we are for, like I said before, we don't want to be a great big government that tries to do everything. We want to be a small government, and if the people want us to have those types of grants, then we shouldn't deny it. We just have to make sure the money's there.
Okay, I think maybe 2 more questions. Is that
Sure,
okay,
2
Ted?
more? Okay,
So,
polka dots. Or you can pick, you want to pick?
Maybe, Jason, you remember your question?
What is your opinion on alternative energy sources like windmills and other natural that take care of
Yeah.
natural things that we need in natural?
You want to repeat?
Yeah, so the question was, what is your opinion on alternative forms of energy such as wind power and solar power?
You know what? I'm really cheering for those alternative energy sources. You know, all the government is a bunch of people who are policy makers. We don't invent a ton of stuff, so all we want to really do is we want to create incentives and rewards to innovators, to people who invent those things, and we want them to be here, and we want them to create them here in BC. We don't believe in punishing people. There's a thing called the carbon tax that we want to get rid of because it doesn't do anything to promote renewable energy. It just goes, you know, and so yeah, that's our stance on it. We want to reward people, not punish people.
Thank you. Last question, Caleb.
What will you do to reduce the amount of poverty?
So we believe that a government should try as hard as they can to be small and not squeeze people for all sorts of taxes. Did you know that the average Canadian pays, like, you know how your mom and dad go to work, or maybe you babysit and you get money? Can you imagine if you got paid $10 and then somebody walked in and took $5 and said, that's mine now? You would only have $5 even though you did $10 worth of work. so you have less money because the government's taking it. We believe that BC should have lower taxes. The other parties are saying they want to raise taxes, which is like when you babysit and you get $10, they took $5, now they want to take $6. So that's going to make people who want to start businesses here not want to be here, and that's going to make families not want to live here, because in Alberta and Saskatchewan, they don't take as much money from people when they work.
So Chad, is there any closing comments you want to say to the people streaming in live about your party?
Sure, yeah. So we're the only party out there that's for small government, less regulation, and lower taxes. We're proposing to eliminate a tax. The NDP and the Liberal Party are proposing to raise taxes and squeeze us like used oranges. So look, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is a great initiative. I want to thank you to Central School in Chilliwack and Mr. Christopher Lister for inviting me, and to all the kids who sat. So you guys are so good. Wow, great questions too. I can't believe that these are awesome questions. You know, people are wondering out there if kids can understand politics. Do you think you felt like you understood today?
Yes.
I think you did too. I think you did great. So I just like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks.
And Division 1 and 2, can you please join me in giving Chad Eros a round of applause? So for those streaming in, that concludes our Conservative Party presentation today. So join us tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chad. I really appreciate you taking time out. Actually, having these guys.